So, you want to build a community. You want a place that you and your audience can get the most value out of your content from. But how do you do it? In this video, I want to run through 5 of the most important things that I've learned from building and managing communities online, about what you need to consider before you even start, right? Or as you're getting started, these are things that you need to think about. There's a lot of stuff, right, but these are the 5 most important things. Number 1, structure. Now, there's 2 different ways you can go about this. Number 1 is if you have a following, and number 2 is if you don't. Now, these are different because with the following, you've already got traction. You've already got a whole host of people who know your stuff and are ready to get involved. They love everything you do and they're following you. They want to see your stuff, right? So, best and most effective way if you already have a following is you can do a low ticket community and a high ticket community. You don't need to be worrying about giving a whole bunch of value off the bat because you've already done that, right? That's why they follow you in the first place. So you can build straight away a low ticket community and get people in. They're willing to pay you the money because they follow you, they know your stuff, right? If you don't already have a following, you need a free community. This is to let people know your stuff, show them exactly how much value you have, you can offer, what you can really bring to the table. If you don't have a following, they're not going to pay you money instantly. And then from there, you can do high ticket and funnel them through the communities, right? But if you don't have a following, you've got to have a free community. It's the only way, right? Next up is you need to consider what platform you're actually going to use, right? Now, there's a whole host of different platforms that you can use. The ones I've seen work the best are Discord, School, Meta, and ClickFunnels. There's others that you can use, Circle, etc. There's a lot of other things you can use, but these are my 4 favorites. So just quickly run through some benefits of each of them. Discord is more for like niche communities, really popular among gamers and developers, that sort of stuff. You can host like live calls, videos, really good for the actual community side of it. However, with a really complex setup community on there, it can be pretty overwhelming for people as they just join, especially if they're not familiar with it. Also, it's pretty hard discoverability, right? So if you don't know about Discord, you're only really going to be joining specifically for that group. You're not really going to be looking through Discord trying to find these groups, whatever. School is great. It's amazing for the community side of it and the education side of it. It's basically an education platform. Really new. Really sort of blowing up recently. This is where we host a lot of the communities. Sort of gamifies the whole thing. Really, really good for the engagement of the community, which is amazing. It's really user-friendly as well, which is what I really like. It's really simple, really plain, really easy to use. It's great for discovering new communities. On the front page you can see communities that are blowing up. You can search in there for communities. It really is built just specifically for communities and education. It's really new, so people aren't really too sure about it, but it is growing. It's grown a lot. There's not really too many use cases for communities because it is education based and there's a specific classroom section on it. That's something to bear in mind. Discord is a free to use, free to set up. School is $99 a month at the moment, so that's something to bear in mind. With School, it is a paid service and it's more education based. Meta, so Instagram and Facebook, these are free communities. However, these are more like one-sided, so people get a lot of their value from your content, the posts, stories, that sort of stuff. And these are like broadcast channels on Instagram, and they're sort of one way, so that's something to bear in mind. It's not great for a community, but really just pumping out value and sort of information is pretty good. Facebook is pretty decent for communities as well. Thing with these, right, is you've got billions and billions of people that use Meta. So really, really wide audience to attract to. But Facebook's sort of going out of style, especially with younger people, and Instagram is like a one-way. It's not too amazing. So that's something to bear in mind. ClickFunnels is more business orientated really, so it's more of like sales funneling. It's great for webinars and building landing pages and funneling people, selling them. But the community side of it is not amazing, right? So it's not particularly built for communities, it's more built for selling to masses. This is also paid, this one's paid, this one's paid. These two are free. Something to bear in mind. There's other stuff you can use, but I found these are the four most successful ones, depending on what niche you're in, what your client base is like. So yeah, do some research, pick the best one. Do not try and set up a community on every single one. Way too much going on. Your audience is going to hate it. They're going to be looking to where to find even a simple bit of information. Pick one, stick to it, go all in on it, make it work. Best way to do it. Next thing to consider is value, right? What you're actually going to be giving the community. So you can do instant value, which is as soon as they join the community, you just blasting them. You want them to say wow, right, when you join. So always under promise and over deliver. Now there's a difference between over delivering and overwhelming, right? So if you have a million different courses or all these products, like, it gets to a point where people have so much stuff they will never take action because they don't know where to start and it's all too much for them. So narrow it down, most valuable stuff, and give them it all, right? Give them the instant value, make them say wow. But you also want unlockable stuff. So later on down the line, stuff they can work towards, you want to incentivize their engagement in the community. And as they become more valued members of your community, boosting it not only within the community but outside, drawing outside attention into the community, they can unlock further stuff, whether that's resources, extra courses, more material, one-on-one tutoring, anything, right? You need to incentivize their engagement. School is really good for this because you've got a level system in it, and as they level up they can unlock more stuff. Otherwise you can set the stuff manually and you can see, oh, this guy's made 20 posts, let's give him something like that, right? Now, next thing is personalization. Your branding is everything, right? People watch your stuff, they're engaged with you because of you, right? Your branding, who you are, the sort of way you describe things, your take on everything, and that's what they'd be joining the community for. They're not just joining the community because you're teaching them how to play piano, or they're learning how to play piano. It's because you're teaching them how to play piano, right? So you need consistency between your social medias and your community. This really creates a whole journey for the audience, the people joining, and really keeps reminding them that they're in your community. Okay, now this is important because this is the best way that they're gonna get a sense of belonging, right? If they just join if they join your community and it feels like they're just in a random space, they're gonna be much more likely to leave and not utilize all the value that you're giving them. So you need the consistency. So this is color schemes, logos, fonts, even specific wording that you use, something like that. You just need to keep it constant, right? This is really important because, like I said, it's your community, they like you, they want your stuff. Last thing I want to talk about is culture. Now, creating a culture in the community is so important, right? This is what keeps the engagement high and completely reduces the churn rate, so people leaving. If you create a culture and a real sense of family and community inside your community, it's going to be so invaluable to the members that they're not going to want to leave, right? And this is where you make money, right? Not only make the money, but give your audience the most value, and in return, you get the most value from them, right? You don't want people leaving. You want to create a movement and a real community that you can actually help people. So this includes setting guidelines and sort of policies. It doesn't have to be anything too official, right? But you need to set guidelines and a sort of a precedent from the start. So having a list of rules or how we run the community, things that you don't want to be too strict, but at the same time you need to be, right? When you start getting 10,000 plus people in your community, it's going to require a lot of moderation. So setting these guidelines from the beginning and really setting a culture of positivity and hard work and doing the work and not disrespecting people, it's going to make it so much easier later down the line, right? Because people are going to moderate themselves. So, I mean, a lot of the work that we do is we moderate and manage these communities, but if you set the guidelines, that already eliminates a lot of the work, right? Because people are going to want to be in a positive space. So the moment someone starts talking about all the negative things, then people are going to highlight this, and you can take action against that, right? Set the values from the start and really create a positive place. You can also highlight specific members or wins or achievements that people are doing, and highlight this to emphasize the positive space that you want to create for these people, right? Creating this positive culture not only adds value to the members in it, but will skyrocket the longevity of the community. And that's what you want. You don't want to just create this community, a couple of people join it, leave, and that's it, right? You want it there, making you money, giving your audience as much value as possible, and ultimately boosting your brand, putting you in a position of authority and benefiting you in so many ways, opening so many doors. People might even join your community who have better connections than you do. You can use that, right? But if you don't have a good culture, or you don't give them enough value, or it feels random, or they're paying too much because they don't know you, or anything like that, if you don't get these things right, it's not going to go well from the start. These are for really, you're in it for the long run, right? So you need to make sure you get these 5 things right, and you'll be basically most of the way there. So, hope this helped. Hope your communities go very successfully. If you have any problems or you have any questions, let us know.